How's it going, Habibis? It has been about a week since the format has shifted substantially. As you guys know, Maliss has been introduced into Master Duel, so that means we are upon a new meta. And with that said, that means that we need to make adjustments to our deck. It is flawed deck building and deck philosophy to expect the same deck to win format to format. This applies to meta decks, rogue decks, non-meta decks, all in between. So I actually made this flaw in my first couple hours. I was like, okay, well, let's see if Maliss is going to be prevalent. Let's see if Maliss is even that good. And I got absolutely stomped. I played exactly the same deck that you guys saw in some of my previous Dark Magician videos. And I was destroyed. And I was like, whoa. Made some changes, made some adjustments. I'll be sure to go over those at the end of the video with you guys. But first, you guys need to make sure you see all of these replays, because here, I'm actually going to highlight my last 10 games. We've won 9 out of 10 games here. This is a 9 out of 10 streak. So I'm going to go over some of these games, show you guys my climb. We're currently in Diamond 1. We've made it to Diamond 1. And we're going to make it to Master again with the Dark Magician deck during the Maliss format. So hopefully you guys will learn a thing or two. If you enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button for me and sub to my YouTube channel for more goated Dark Magician content and all other stuff. Dinos, heroes, Thunder Dragons. Basically, if you're a nostalgic fan, then you should probably sub to my YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, let's go into some of these replays. Okay, so this first replay we're going to go over is going up against a guy who claims to be learning. Maybe he was playing kind of a learning starter type of deck. No shade intended towards any users who play this deck. You guys will see in a sec. But you know, I'd like to say we taught him a little lesson as to why DM is the best deck. So they're going to Ash Blossom our Dark Magical Circle. We are going to now try to draw 2. So our hand is not very good. You know, we drew a lot of non-engine, and unfortunately we already used IOC's effect, so we can't use it again to grab Magician's Rod. So I made the decision here to summon my Effect Veiler to go into Dragoon, because I said, okay, worst comes to worst, I'll have a Dragoon negate, I'll have an Ash Blossom, and if they're not playing Maliss, then I won't use my Artifact Lancey here, and I'll just use the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest to go into Guardian Chimera. Now, unfortunately, my opponent hits me with Lightning Storm, Forbidden Droplet, and I'm sure many of you guys now know what deck we were going up against. It was none other than Tenpai. So right off the bat, Guardian Chimera is out of play, and our Dragoon's out of play. They do activate Gold Sark, which is a card that is played by Tenpai. We are now going to activate our Artifact Lancia, which makes this fizzle. Then they're going to activate their Pydra. Last card they had, I'm going to Ash Blossom that, and that is going to basically end their turn after they run over my Dragoon. So now I'm left with just the IOC in hand, and remember, we did set up our graveyard. Despite breaking essentially that last turn, we set up our graveyard pretty well here. I know my face cam's kind of blocking it, but you see we got Dark Magician here. We have Dark Magician Girl here in the graveyard. So what does that mean? That means we will get a draw 2 off of our Soul Servant. So I'm going to put back the Hollow Desmina because it's not very useful right now. We'll go Soul Servant. Soul Servant's going to stack Magician Souls. I'm going to draw 2 cards. And of course, I draw Deception as well as Magician Souls. We're going to summon out our DM, activate our Deception, get rid of Verte, grab that Hollow Desmina right back, summon out Mew Rasalago, and Rasalago will now search for Wanted. So normally what I would do is I would try to link the Rasalago off, but now I'm actually just trying to go for game here because my opponent doesn't have much going for him. So I like to think that this was a lesson in how to defeat your opponent who's playing a much better deck than you. And I taught this man the power of the Dark Magic attack. So despite our Dragoon getting Forbidden Dropleted, our back row getting wiped out, we still were able to have the resources and the recursion to get a follow-up board and to finish the opponent off there for game. All right, Habibi, so now this duel, this I like to call straight up cooking with Dark Magician. Now, before I go further into this replay, because we really do cook here and it's a beautiful Dark Magician board, I do want to tell you guys, if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It's free. Just hit it. Do it real quick. I'll wait. Steve, come on, man. We're waiting for you. Just hit the thumbs up button so we can continue. Anyways, so our hand's kind of bricked, right? Hallowed Azamine is a brick. Dark Magician Girl is a brick. So we're basically starting off the duel with 3 cards in our hand. But luckily we have IOC. IOC is a beautiful card. It allows us to unbrick our hand. So we're going to put the Dark Magician Girl back and then send it to the graveyard using our Magician Souls effect. And then we're going to draw 1 random card. It happens to be Dark Magical Circle. And then because we are him, we do get a hit off of our Dark Magical Circle. We get that Soul Servant. I'm now going to stack my deck with Magician Salvation, draw 2 cards, and then we draw not only the Salvation that we stacked, but also Ether Barrel. So this allows us to further extend our plays. We summon Barrel, set load, load activates, grabs Drill Beam. We're going to set up our Salvation, grab our Drill Beam, and then we're going to go into Verte and summon out Dragoon. So basically what we have here is DM Triangle Banish, Dragoon Omni Negate, Drill Beam Banish, Roar Banish, and as well as our non-engine imperm. Now, something I do want to point out, guys, and this is very, very important. The current meta is not good for Dark Magician, right? So obviously Maliss likes to be banished, and we do a lot of banishing. So that's kind of not great for us. However, we can still make intelligent plays to where our banishes are effective. So I'm going to negate this Allure of Darkness. A lot of people in my chat were saying it was a bait because I did this duel live on stream. If you guys want to come join the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/KingMatty. I still think, even if it is a bait, Allure of Darkness is always a good hit. Not only is it a +2 for them, but it also allows them to be a starter. So I negated it. And then here they banished their Cheesy Cat. So this is where I talked about making smart plays. Okay, I already knew that this is a once per turn to summon itself when it's banished. I am going to use my Dark Magical Triangle now to banish the Cheesy Cat. So now Cheesy Cat's banished before it can activate its effect. And then I'm going to activate Roar here because they summon another Cheesy Cat. Okay? So they summon another one. If I banish this, they still can't activate it. I activate my Roar, negate, or not negate, banish a normal summon. They're going to chain TB11. We're going to Drill Beam the TB11. It's always good against Maliss to use your Drill Beam on the back row because they typically don't have effects when banished, and the opponent scoops. So that is just a master class on how to set up not only a Dark Magician board, but how to interrupt Maliss if you're playing Dark Magician. All right, so I called the previous duel a master class in how to play Dark Magician versus Maliss. I'm going to call this a master ass in how to play Dark Magician versus Maliss. I am not ashamed to admit I made some misplays along the way. However, I did make some good plays here. So we're going to activate Ether Barrel's effect to send Dark Magician to the graveyard. This does 2 things. 1, it makes my Soul Servant live, and 2, it makes my Primite Roar live. So we're going to use Primite Roar, summon DM. Now the downside to this is now I can't use Red Eyes Dark Dragoon off of Verte's effect because both of my Dark Magicians are in play, and I can't use Ref because I don't have any Dark Magicians from the deck. So that is a problem for the future, Maddie, to handle. Right now, we're just trying to keep making plays to set up some kind of board. And we are going up against Maliss, like I said. So we have an Impermanent Drill Beam, as well as a Lancia and a Roar. So they're going to activate Maliss in the Underground. We're going to activate Lancia. So far, so good. Haven't made any mistakes. I'll show you when I do. They chained the 07 to this. You could say that maybe I should have shotgunned the Lancia, but I'm not a big fan of doing that. I'd rather them waste their Maliss in the Underground effect. So that maybe turn 4, you know, if I shotgun Lancia, then maybe just turn 4 they'll activate Maliss in the Underground. I'd rather them waste the effect. So I'm going to Imperm the White Rabbit, okay? And this is going to effectively end their turn after they attack over my Magician Souls. And we are going to take the lead now. So this is where, you know, towards the end of this turn, I make some questionable decisions. So I'll show you guys here. We're going to go Ether Barrel. Ether Barrel is going to set Lordly Load. IOC is going to grab Magician Souls. I'm going to put back the IOC. And we're going to activate Load, grab an Ether Barrel. Magician Souls is going to dump IOC, summon Magician Souls, banish the... just send the Lordly Load to draw a card, and we draw into prep. So this IOC is just staying glued to our hands. We're going to Drill Beam this Maliss in the Underground because we might as well. We get the Drill Beam right back. And we are now going to go into IP Masquerade. Now, I could have gone into Hieratic Seals here. That might have been a better option versus Maliss. So that was kind of bad play by me. Now, this is where I really fumbled. And I don't feel bad or embarrassed telling you guys this because if I made this mistake, then chances are you know, someone may make it later on in the future, and this could, you know, potentially protect somebody from, you know, making the same bozo plays that I made and learn from my mistakes. So for some reason, I misread Malice in the Mirror, and I banished it for my opponent, and that allowed them to get the effect, which allows them to add a Malice card from their deck to their hand. So now I have to use my Ash Blossom on that. I blame myself, but I also was streaming and my timer was going down and I was just distracted. It was a bonehead play by me. So don't banish Malice in the Mirror for your opponent. We're gonna activate Roar, banish the Dormouse, so at least now we get away, we, you know, waste one of their banishes. So now when we Drill Beam this Dormouse, it will not come back. So we banish Dormouse twice. They're gonna use the March Hare, banish the White Rabbit. White Rabbit's gonna trigger summoning itself. I'm gonna use SP Little Knight's effect to banish the March Hare. March Hare is not gonna come back because once again, that was the second time it was banished. And then now here, my timer was at 0 seconds. So I was really living dangerously here. So now where we, you know, gain some composure, start making some better plays. I do have Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in my graveyard. So I'm going to grab Soul Servant. Soul Servant's going to allow me to draw 2 cards. And more importantly here, I'm going to stack the deck with Dark Magician, okay? We return Dark Magician to the deck. I don't want to draw Dark Magician. I'm going to use Diabell Star's effect to set Deception. Deception, now my deck is going to be shuffled. We're going to activate Deception, grab Hallowed Azamina, and summon out our Ilia Sylvia. Now they're going to activate TB11 to summon a Link monster, but the good thing about TB11 is they cannot activate the effect of the Heart's Cryptor, okay? So I don't have to worry about that right now, okay? We're going to summon out Ilia Sylvia just in case they got some shenanigans pulled, and in a roundabout crazy way, we're going to go into Verte on turn 5. Very rare that this happens, but we are going Verte turn 5, summoning out Dragoon after we made the consolation at the beginning of the duel that we were not going to be able to do this. We were able to figure out a way to still do it, and the opponent scoops to the might of Dragoon and Verte, because we were going to pop the field and win the duel there, and the connection failed. So, you know, you'd love to see a good rage quit. There's some duels that just make you feel like the Pharaoh, and this is one of them. So you look at our hand, we drew the Brick Dark Magician Girl. We do have a double of Magician's Rod, as well as Lordly Load. Normally Load would grab Barrel, but I'm not going to grab another normal summon. So I'm going to actually grab Primite Roar here, because Primite Roar is a guaranteed disruption, where Drill Beam is a maybe. So I'm going to now use my Rod to grab my Circle, and we are going to go into Verte to summon out Dragoon. Now at this point, what I'm trying to do is thin the deck as much as possible, right? So we're going to dump the DM, dump the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then we top deck off of the Circle, Magician Salvation. You love to see it. I really was feeling myself after that one during the stream, because it was just a, you know, heart of the cards moment. Now, we needed every single one of these disruptions, okay? So my opponent starts off with the Millennium Engine, Sanginjin, summons itself, grabs the Golem, and something you need to be careful with here. When they use Wedju Temple, okay, to place 2 cards on the field, they can now summon their Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, and that is a 3,000 attack point monster. It can just attack right into my Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which I don't want to happen, okay? We don't want Red Eyes Dark Dragoon just to be attacked into, so I needed to make sure that I used my Dragoon effect beforehand to boost it up to 4,000, or to stop these from happening. So now I'm going to activate my Eternal Soul, summon Dark Magician, and we're going to banish this Medora, okay? Now we're going to activate Magician's Rod, grab it back to the hand because mine as well, and they're going to activate Called By on that, and that is perfectly fine with me. I don't bother negating that. They summon out their Rhino Heart. Roar now in the graveyard triggers. Roar is truly a special card, guys. Special disruption. A lot of people don't see it coming. Doesn't matter what they send. If they send Havness or Sharon, they can't summon off of it. They're desperate, so they send their Terror Limits Cash. Mill 2 cards, not 2 good mills. They're going to go Requiem now. Requiem is going to summon out Engraver, and I should have probably negated that because I wasn't thinking. Now they activate Requiem's effect to place into the back row, which once again, they could have summoned out their Doom Dragon because they'd have 2 monsters in the Spell and Trap card zone. We negate that, and they surrender. We needed all our disruptions there. DM Triangle, Roar, Dragoon, but hey, we made it happen. the Pharaoh Was With Us. All right, this is the last duel we're going to go over, and this game has a weird way of, bringing you back down to earth. So this game happened after the previous one where I was feeling like the Pharaoh. So I'm going to use my barrel here to grab Roar. I'm really loving Roar, even more so than usual. It's just such a good card, and now we're going to send it to the graveyard for free, drawing 2 cards, reset the Drill Beam. We draw into Soul Servant. We're going to go into Verte, pop out our Dragoon, and then I was feeling so full of myself. I was like, I'm going to go grab Dark Magical Circle here. Because I'm the Pharaoh, I'm going to get Eternal Soul, set up my DM Triangle, my Drill Beam will become active, and that's not how things happened. So now I essentially don't have a Drill Beam that works. The smart play there would have been just to get Magician Salvation and guarantee that you're going to have a Drill Beam that's active and not go for the circle. So, you swing big, you hit a home run sometimes, you also strike out sometimes. And that time I struck out. So I'm going to Ash Blossom their Pot of Extravagance. At this point now I see this, so I'm guaranteed I know that they are playing Voiceless Voice. Now they're going to use their Barrier of the Voiceless Voice to grab Saphira. Saphira allows them to dump a ritual spell as well as add a ritual monster. Now this is key. They were going to use Diviner of the Herald to increase its attack, to increase its level so that it was big enough to be tributed for their tribute summon, using Saphira's second effect in the graveyard to banish itself to ritual summon a light ritual monster. Roar comes in clutch, banishes the Diviner of the Herald so it doesn't get the level boost. The opponent ends their turn, and we proceed to cook them. We're going to grab Dark Magician, add it to our hand so that this Drill Beam does become live just in case. Now I'm going to summon my other DM, banish their barrier, and we are going to end this duel with a Dark Magical finish. Now we have, like I showed you guys, had a really good run. This is, all these games that I just showed were from our 9 out of 10 game win streak, if you want to call it. We went 9-1 over our last 10, and hopefully you guys learned something from this. Now let's go into the deck list and see what we changed. All right, Habibis, this is the deck list. Now, if you guys skip to the end to just see what the deck looked like, shame on you. Go back, watch the replays, see the application, see how we use this deck, what we search for, all that stuff. But if you insist on just copying the deck and looking at it, that's fine too. Just be sure to hit the thumbs up button for me. It helps out the channel a ton. Now, as you guys probably can already tell and can tell from the replays, we are not playing the Bestial variant that has given us so much glory. It's the one that got us to the top 16. However, in this current meta with Maliss running rampant, it just didn't give enough advantage, and I figured I can get rid of those Bestials and actually play the Azamina engine, go back to that. This will allow us to play through Disruption, as well as we can play more hand traps that are beneficial for this format, such as Artifact Lancia. Now, many of you guys already know this is almost a guaranteed win card if you face Maliss. It at least buys you a turn to set up a board because they can't really play through this card. You could play cards like Chaos Hunter, but realistically, I feel like Artifact Lancia is enough, as well as a myriad of other hand traps. Now, in my 60 card build, you can definitely make the case to add Chaos Hunter just so you have, 6 copies of a card that can really subdue Maliss. However, I've had a lot of success with just Artifact Lancia. You guys can make those decisions based off of, I guess, what you're facing in your climb through ranked. For me, also, we have used Fulos because Fulos has been really beneficial in this format. I really like it. I also like it for just another monster because we need monsters to tribute for Deception. It happens sometimes where I open Deception with no monsters to tribute. Fulos is a good fodder for that. Other than that, guys, we have basically gone away from the board breakers. We were playing evenly matched at one point, and we kind of went back to hand traps. The only real board breaker we have is Triple Tactics Talent and Subversion, which is an in-archetype search card for, problematic cards that we need to put back. So I really do like Subversion. TTT is just a powerful card, but you can consider cutting this actually for, I don't know. Another hand trap, maybe even another Preparation of Rites. I'm not sure. But anyways, this has given us a lot of success. We've done really well with it. Hopefully you guys will as well. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys want to see my reaction to the latest Dark Magician support being used in an OCG special event, be sure to check out this video right here. And until next time, Habibis, take care of yourselves. Go out everyone, make some of these days special. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, Habibis.